This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com, and I'm going to go into my weekly review of the points I find interesting in Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter. So, also, I'll have to remind you guys to subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed, and please like this video. Help me get it ranked. I'll jump right into the news right now. WWE set business records in the first quarter of 2021. They took in $333,448,000 in revenue and had $66,041,000 in profits. So huge money. A lot of this has to do with their Saudi Arabia deals, their TV deals, their Peacock network, huge deals that they have, YouTube revenue, and so forth. Nick Khan said that WrestleMania was the most viewed event in the history of the company. However, he was combining the viewership of both nights. And Meltzer points out here that more people actually watched the television shows of Raw and Nitro in the 90s than watched WrestleMania if you look at it from a one-night perspective rather than combining the two nights into one big number. WWE has a new deal with A&E that's going to include 35 new biography episodes, 24 Treasures episodes, 20 more episodes of this Rivals show. Stephanie McMahon brought up on the quarter one financials call, I guess, that WWE had $10 million in sponsorship for WrestleMania. And she also said that they're trying to find younger stars. And WrestleMania in weekend in Dallas, they had tryouts featuring 50 college athletes from 40 schools. So again, that's the problem. They used to hire like the best wrestlers from every territory back when there was territories. Now there's college athletes that they're training from scratch. So I take a sip of my protein drink here. They also noted on this Q1 financials call that television production costs are down because with the Thunderdome, it was more expensive to produce and they weren't having any gate money. Apparently, they were asked on this call because WrestleMania had huge viewership in India, would they do a big event there? And there was no real answer because Meltzer points out that the country in India is very poor and it might not be that much of a financial success to run a big show there. I know they did a few years ago run a huge show in India where they had Jinder Mahal, who they'd been pushing as a major star job to Triple H, which was mind-blowing to me. You spend all this time trying to build Jinder Mahal in a star, and then Triple H, who's not even wrestling full-time, beats him in India. Apparently in this call, they were asked about what they were saying years ago, that they were going to have performance centers around the world, and no real answer was given other than they're looking into it. Apparently, as far as total tickets sold for house shows, pay-per-view events, and TV tapings, a total of 286,800 tickets were sold domestically, which was an average of 5,708 tickets per show and an average gate of $382,570. So I guess making their ticket prices so expensive these days does put their gates up. They average $73,576 in merchandise per event as well. WWE did cut 10 wrestlers from NXT on the 29th of April. The most known were Malcolm Bivens, horrible name, Dakota Kai, Dexter Loomis. You know, with a name like Dexter Loomis, you're going to be the next Hulk Hogan. Priscilla, Pirata, and Heartland. And those had been on TV semi-regularly. Meltzer brings up that Heartland, whose real name was Parker Boudreaux, had a lot of publicity before signing because he looked like Brock Lesnar, and Paul Heyman was promoting him while he was still playing college football. But I guess nothing really came out of him. I do remember there was a huge deal that this guy was going to be the next Brock Lesnar, but nothing really came out of it, and they released him. Roderick Strong, who I don't even know. I remember his name, but I don't know. I'm not that familiar with him. Apparently, he's been trying to get out of his contract, but they're not letting him out of his contract. Well, again, you people sign your contracts. So I don't really have pity for people that sign a contract to be in a company for a number of years and then regret signing it. There's people starving all around the world that I'm more concerned about. There's people dying over in the Ukraine that I have more pity for. Matt Riddle and his wife Lisa officially divorced a month ago, apparently. Meltzer brings up that their marriage had a big issue as Candy Cartwright had made sexual assault claims against Riddle related to an affair that they were having. Dynamite did a 0.32 rating this week. They were taping from Baltimore and had 4,300 paid in attendance. It is noteworthy that last week, 921,000 people watched Dynamite last week, and this week it was down to 833,000, so a significant drop in viewership. Young Rock did a 0.34 rating. NXT was also down, 0.13 rating. Raw from Greensboro did a 0.38 rating and had 5,100 paid fans in attendance. SmackDown last week also did a 0.38 rating. These 0.38 ratings are bad, by the way. To have your flagship shows in the 0.3s is not good. Rampage only did a 0.14 last week. New Japan did a 0.00. Yes, that's the actual number. For everyone that constantly talks, well, it's really only the smart marks that love New Japan. They literally did a 0.00 rating. And Impact did a 0.02 rating. Vice says they're going to do another Dark Side of the Ring 4th season. However, it's not listed on their schedule yet. Freddie Prince Jr. says he's going to start his own wrestling promotion. I don't actually know what Freddie Prince Jr. has been in because I thought he was one of the guys from American Pie, but I guess he's not. So I know he was an actor that did some stuff in the 90s, but I definitely had him confused with somebody from American Pie, and I can't really tell you what he's been in. Because last time I said he was from American Pie when he was in the news, oh my God, I got so much hate about it. So I stand corrected from that again. The former Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, got engaged last week to Josine Offerman, who was JoJo in WWE. They'd been together a while and had 2 kids together. Stu Grayson was released from AEW. No loss there. UFC, in that news, there's a big show in Phoenix this weekend, my favorite city in the U.S. Apparently, there's only 835 tickets left, 15,450 tickets out right now. And Dana White appeared on the Pivot podcast this week and said boxers were overpaid. Because, of course, there's been a lot of talk lately that UFC guys are really underpaid compared to boxers. So I'm not surprised he said that. But I wouldn't say anybody in an industry where you're literally beating your brains out, you're getting brain damage doing that sport, whether it's in the fight or in sparring, you're destroying your health. I don't think you're overpaid. People die in boxing. You're literally putting your life on the line every time you fight. So I don't think boxers are overpaid at all. Mike D, thank you for the $5 tip. A lot of people think Mike D is Jerry Saggs of the Nasty Boys, always asking for the Nasty Boys in the Hall of Fame. I do agree that all of those people do belong in the Hall of Fame, though. The original Doink the Clown, Miss Elizabeth, and the Nasty Boys are all Hall of Fame worthy. Wade is smoking and joking. Do I think Cody will dethrone Roman Reigns? Who knows if they are pushing Roman for a match against Rock at next year's WrestleMania. I don't see how making him lose would be beneficial. I think that they should just have him keep going till WrestleMania, then defeat Rock. A loss to Cody in between, I don't think would be beneficial. I did see that Cody wants to bring back the Winged Eagle belt, which I do agree with Cody was the best WWE World Title ever. Who was my favorite wrestler to interview? Well, I got along really well with Hillbilly Jim, and he bought me dinner after, so he would be up there. Bo, I've been doing good. I've been getting into really good shape lately. I would love to interview Bill Watts, Ivan, but he's extremely hard to track down. Am I in Montreal? No, I'm in Ottawa, which is about, well, where I live, I'm closer to the Montreal side of Ottawa, so I could probably get there. I could get to the outskirts of Montreal in an hour and a half from where I live. And I believe I am actually going to Montreal next weekend. Speaking of Montreal, is the Cat interview still coming? She was supposed to do an interview with me a few weeks ago. The captain was setting it up, but she got COVID, so she didn't make the autograph convention she was supposed to do it at. So if she ever does another autograph convention that the captain brings her to, probably. I am interviewing Missy Hyatt tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Old school, yeah, I agree. WWE does suck. Wade, you make an excellent point here. That Miss Elizabeth is not in the Hall of Fame, but Booker T's ex-wife is. Now, I don't know if Booker T actually split with Sharmell or not, but give me a break. I actually completely forgot about Sharmell until you just brought her up now, where Elizabeth was like a key figure in wrestling and the first real lady pushed by WWE. I fully agree with you on that. Old school gamer 3R says AEW game looks like garbage. Wade, Freddie Prince is from Scooby-Doo. There you go. No wonder I don't know who he is. I don't watch kids' movies. Sad what wrestling has become in a lot of ways, yeah. Did I get a shoot interview with Dink? Yeah, years ago. It's funny, though, for a guy that Dink is actually like almost 70, if he's not 70 by now. He's aged really well. He is from Montreal, by the way. He also wrestled under Tiger Jackson. But he's been wrestling in the US since like the early 80s, possibly even the 70s. And his English is horrible, which is amazing to me because he mostly worked with English people. Why do I think the Austin Theory name was changed? I have no idea. I don't even remember what it was changed to, but I remember a big hoopla about it. What about agrees? Ivan Santos, John Tatum interview. I've heard he has some concussion issues and so forth, and his mind might not be the sharpest for an interview these days. Todd, when is Blood Hunter going to take over the world? Well, the movie, The Blood Hunter is turning into a movie actor. So that's going to be recorded this summer. So I think as the movie develops, a lot more people are going to know about Blood Hunter. Young Macho Man Savage. I would interview Nydia, who I haven't actually seen since 2005 when I went out with her one weekend in Puerto Rico. And yeah, I would interview with her, but she doesn't, I don't know if she has social media. I know someone did an interview with her a few years ago, and I asked them if I could get her contact info because I wanted to interview her as the first female Tough Enough winner. And that person did not respond to me. There's politics within the shoot interview, people. Surprise, surprise. Actually, somebody wrote a comment the other day that they don't think there's as much politics in wrestling today as there was in the old days. There is. Wrestling is very political. The people near the top want to keep their spots. There's backstabbing. There's cliques. Is there backstage fights like there used to be? No. But certain people don't get hot. For instance, let's look at a guy that AEW just released, Stu Grayson. And let's look at like these 2.0 guys in AEW. They're all three of those guys are Canadian. Jeremy Prophet is also Canadian from Montreal. Okay, just like those guys. He's way better than all three of those guys. Not only is he way better than them, but he's wrestled more stars on the independent scene and done more main event matches on the independent scene than all three of those guys, but he never got a shot. But because those three have friends in higher places than a guy like Jeremy Prophet may never get his shot. And people like that, who in my opinion aren't any good, will. It's just the way that wrestling works. El Spicy says there's a lot of backstabbing. Mike, I do have a Steve Kern interview on this channel. Look it up. What about says there's more social media fights now? Yeah, I mean, Dr. D was talking about it. There's way less, and you know, Tom Pritchard was even talking about it. There's less tough people in wrestling these days because in the old days you were stretched and you really had to fight to just get in the business. And when you were first getting in, the veterans would literally beat you up and you'd literally have to fight to get offense, and you'd really have to earn your way into the business and prove yourself. Now it's very easy to get in, and if people try and like haze you or bully you, which in the past was a way of weeding out the weak, now it's full of the weak, because if people try and haze or bully, they'll be the ones getting shunned. And I'm not really condoning bullying, but like in wrestling, weeding out the weak was a good way of keeping the business strong, because wrestlers were supposed to be the toughest people in the world. That's why you wanted to see them fight, because they didn't look like your average person at Burger King or guys that just sit at home playing video games. They looked like crazy, tough people, and you wanted to pay money to watch them fight. So yeah, the old days was better in my view, but I'm a YouTuber now, so I don't worry about it. Have I done an interview with Jeff Jarrett? No, I have done a short one with him, but apparently he doesn't want to do one with me because he didn't like what his dad, Jerry Jarrett, said in his interview with me. But there is a couple interviews with Jeff Jarrett and John Paz on this channel if you search Jeff Jarrett, the Hannibal TV. And I'm going to call it a day because I actually have to go to work. I start work in half an hour. So have a great day and a great weekend. Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please help me out and like this video, then click the subscribe and get notifications buttons so you don't miss any of my latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Follow us on Facebook at the Hannibal TV for more live streams and videos.